So I just took a shower. I ate a whole pomegranate, so my teeth might have a stained appearance. The Chinaman was saying something. Oh, it wasn't the Chinaman, it was the Indian woman, Champagne. So she goes up to the Chinaman while the black is processing the paperwork and starts talking about a previous incident in which I had filed a complaint against her and had identified me as a victim, and they both started laughing. Using the term victim in a condescending way when there is an actual patriarchy murdering people is delusional. Women face an incredible amount of violence against them in the form of misogyny, and it's a fact that the force of women is not. Fuck, I'm just so tired. Like, I'm in my fucking underwear chilling. I even have other things to talk about. Women are not stronger than men. Women can only use their words. When fighting a psychopath male, self-identifying as a victim and using the term victim correctly in legal procedures is a symbol of strength. Being able to overcome trauma requires self-identifying as a victim. You have two options. Either you're going to internalize your trauma, which is going to destroy you when facing a psychopath, or you're going to externalize it, which is going to give you the tools to build community on the specific issue you want resolved. The willingness of these psychopaths to violate the code and conduct expected of them is delusional. Making the humiliating point that me self-identifying as a victim not me self-identifying, that I am a victim, because I've never spoken to this idea of me being a victim. They saw me as such. They made the point that Chinaman said because my hair was long, I'm a liberal. He said that I live in my mom's basement. When I was sitting there with my hands cuffed, he called me good boy. These are all entirely delusional behaviors grounded in sexual oppression. They literally self-identify as the patriarchy. It's a gendered concept. Everything comes back to gender expression, and that they were willing to play identity politics but themselves are professional victims is psychopathic. I'm just going to keep speaking about them laughing about me being a victim. It's delusional. Champagne and her willingness to I think this video is actually a lot shorter than I originally anticipated, because now I'm just trying to come up with the title to this video. Champagne and her ability to manufacture victimhood. Champagne and her internalized misogyny. Oh, that's it. Champagne is practicing internalized misogyny. She's literally in an institution of victimhood. An Indian. She's completely given up on fighting the patriarchy, and has now internalized the behavior of the institution that has destroyed her entire people. Champagne and her internalized misogyny. So she goes on to then say, so she doesn't self-identify with victims as an Indian and a woman. Okay, so that's misogyny done against her, because I'm still willing to give her space as a woman. I don't care about her Indian identity. That's delusional. Her willingness to entertain delusions is delusional. Internalized misogyny is extremely dangerous for women, because then they start policing men in the same way that the patriarchy polices men, which is quite literally, like with real world consequences, and without themselves as women having grown into healthy versions of themselves, because they're constantly under oppressive circumstances. They're willing to oppress in the matter of between love and war, in the subject of war, in the subject of love. Wow, internalized misogyny. Champagne's such a dumbass. She's literally practicing internalized misogyny as a Indian woman. This is so serious. I'm gonna lead immediately now. I was thinking about this into this device and its potential within this private legal research lab that I'm trying to legitimize. I will not put my wife and kids in danger, and it is entirely a violation of my right to promote democracy that there is a legitimate threat against my wife and kids, given that I am actually fighting the patriarchy and psychopaths. It should be such that under no circumstance is my wife or kids supposed to get involved. And so how do I play this out? These devices are extremely important in the methodology I'm proposing. What you can do to protect your wife and kids has to come from a place of security, because the moment you become insecure, the psychopaths and the patriarchy have gotten into your head. You have to be willing to lose your wife and kids. And that's just an honest to God fact of being human. It's gotten to such a point that it's actually institutionalized violence against men. However, this has been something that this is as old as time. The way that it's playing out now is entirely psychological, bureaucratic, anti-intellectual, religiously motivated, pro-slavery. If I can do everything in my conscious will to have a clear conscience where my morals and ethics are valued, I'm willing to lose my wife and kids. And a part of that process, which is completely necessary to fight the patriarchy, because under no circumstances am I willing not to marry and have kids, because that's my genetic impulse, and under no circumstances am I supposed to deny any healthy aspect of myself, confronting psychopaths and patriarchs. Do I need a Ashtanga practice? An element. So in Edmonton, we have the Edmonton Oilers, which are like an NHL team, and they're entirely patriarchal. There is a legitimate sense of homosexual sexual oppression within the NHL, and the gender component of being a athlete in Alberta has to do with having a identity that is sexually oppressed, so that within the fraternal community that anyone operates within, whether it's the sports team or the police institution, the sense of camaraderie is created through the colloquial, like the localized, the very specific language of battery. No, it's not, the term's not battery. Barter? No, not barter. It's just picking on each other. They do it because they do it in a way where it like clearly it clearly points to the fact that they're sexually oppressed. And that you can't get into the head of a psychopath is fine. Technically, like, if I'm not a psychopath, it doesn't bother me that I'm not a psychopath. That I have to fight against a psychopath means that I have to come up with a strategy. Great, and so I have. The thing about these hair salons is that hair is such an obviously gendered and female-led discipline that immediately the insecurity of these weak men come up. And this is an excellent opportunity to rip into them, get to something inside of them. There is nothing, they're subhuman by design, but in a bureaucratic way, you can humiliate the institutional structure that gives them authority in the first place. And you can do that by humiliating their gender expression, saying how stupid it is to be sexually oppressed. And in confronting that, they have to confront their homosexual, homoerotic urges in the process of healing psychologically. Heated Rivalry did a really good job of pointing to the fact that highly patriarchal institutions have the potential to crack, and cracks are cracking from the inside out is my strategy to fight psychopaths, because you can't literally engage with them. You can only make a public awareness point, a public awareness campaign specifically here about how they operate and what they do and what they're doing. Don't get in the way of the relationship between my wife and I. I'm already coming after your throats in court. It's just gonna be on another level. And good, like these are just men fighting it out. Like, I'm entirely against psychopathy. Like, I want institutionalization and euthanasia for everyone involved in promoting psychopathy. And a part of that, that this device establishes very clear legal categories for us to see the world, that this woman is my wife and that she is being offended, that there is a aspect of gender, a very obvious aspect of gender playing itself out, and I'm able to speak to that by the fact that there's a hair salon. What I've done is built a foundation for a project that really only needs money. the use case of a strong foundation is enormous. It's applicable anywhere